Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. D-Bear, and welcome to my Allosaurus guide. Today we're going to be looking at everything Allo, all the way from healing and stamina, mechanics, to matchups from big to small. You are in for a very wild and detail-oriented ride today. Everything, all the numbers you're going to see in this guide today, I have tested hands-on myself with stopwatches and my own server. So I hope you do enjoy, and I hope you learn something about Allo and you can get out there and fight and fight and fight. Now, I do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And if you're watching before Halloween this Saturday, I will be doing a special 24-hour stream starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday and going until Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be playing nothing but spooky games. So come out, join the Discord if you want to see the itinerary and the list of games I'll be playing for the day, and come by and hang out. It's going to be a great time. But now let's get into everything Allo. So we're going to begin with some mechanics for the Allo and things you need to watch out for, as well as some stats and things like that. So first, we've got the alt turn. Alt turn on Allo is very, very fast and very, very dangerous. The one thing you need to watch out for with the alt turn is that the Allo has forward momentum, meaning that momentum has to stop before you're able to actually start the alt turn. And as you see here, I'm walking and I'm waiting for that character to reset a little bit. The legs to lock and stay still. If I don't and I try to alt turn, I'll just keep walking. So you gotta let the legs do that little animation where they reset, and that's how you know you're good to start alternating. 4 seconds to prep its ambush. Now, Allo's ambush time lasts 12 seconds. Sprinting time with ambush is 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Sprinting without ambush is 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Allo regens its full bar of stam in 2 minutes and 36 seconds, so faster than it actually spends the stamina. And now for the Allo's healing, it is healing from 20% health, which is 4th screen, in 3 minutes and 28 seconds. We tested this in the DV test level by running into the 20% damage block 4 times. Healing 60 bleed off, which is max bleed for the Allo, in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, as far as dealing with bleed, so we tested that bleed with the Dilo, right? We had the Dilo get max bleed on the Allo, and then we tested how long it would take to die, and of course ways to mitigate. So with max bleed, to die standing takes 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Same time for Z walking and crouching. So crouching will effectively give you the same effect as standing still or Z walking. To die trotting with max bleed is 1 minute and 20 seconds, and to die running with max bleed is 35 seconds. So be wary of this when you are fighting. If you have bleed, it incredibly extends your lifetime and ability to fight if you are not running, if you are crouching or Z walking or standing still. Now be careful with the Rex, as it can catch you if you don't have your ambush up, if it's within that night vision range. It takes Rex 5 seconds to get into its ambush, takes the Allo 4 seconds for it to get into its ambush. But if you have your ambush, you are pretty good to get away from just about any distance. Now here we are testing the bleed, so it's about 3.6 bleed per bite for a Rex with 9 bites to get the Rex to max bleed. Now, at max bleed with just 9 bites, it takes around 12 minutes and 43 seconds for the Rex to die just standing, while the Rex will be healing off 1 Allo bite at around 2 minutes and 25 seconds per bite. So, if you can get 9 bites, try and, I would say, reapply that bleed every 2 or so minutes, and you'll have that Rex dead in no time. Now, 9 bites is going to be pretty risky to get on an alt turn server, but as you can see here, it is pretty efficient to ride a Rex on a no alt turn server. You do want to stay away from that left side hitbox though, as it will snag you. Now the thing to definitely do here is to turn on that Z walk and sprint with a mix of walking to stay behind it. and don't do what I did here and get a little bit too close. Now we've got the Giga, which takes 10 bites for the Allo to reach the Giga to max bleed. We didn't go as in depth with the Giga as we did with the Rex, for example, seeing how long until the Giga would die, just standing, just because of time's sake. But think about it this way, it's probably going to be around the same time as a Rex, you know, in between that 10 to 15 minute range is what you're going to be looking at to bleed a Giga out with 10 bites. Now, on alt turn servers, I do not recommend fighting Gigas at all. Their alt turn is super fast and it's going to be really hard to slip bites in. Non-alt turn servers, very doable. And you're pretty much safe at any range, even if you don't have your ambush. If they're just outside of that night vision range and you don't have ambush, you're probably going to be fine. Their ambush is a little bit longer than the Rex's, coming in at 10 seconds of ambush time, but you'll probably be fine. Now, the thing to note is they can track you down, they can walk you down, but it's going to take quite a while. As we've tested before, for example, with the Dibble, it takes about 8 minutes of tracking for the Giga to actually walk down the Dibble in full. The Allo has much more stand than the Dibble and is a little bit faster, so it's going to take, I would say, on an average of a 10 to 15 minute track for a Giga to actually find you and track you down until you're out of stam, and it's going to be very, very hard for them to do. Very, very hard for them to keep up with you, but it is also doable to ride a Giga on a no alt turn server. As you can see here, it can be done. But once you have that max bleed on the Giga, it's probably going to die if you can keep it from sitting. But if you get bit once, you're dead. Allos are actually very, very good at taking on trikes. You don't want to take a stomp to the face. That's pretty much death. That's putting you on fourth screen with 2 drops of bleed. You're not walking very far. Now, with 1 horn attack from the trike, you are able to walk some distance away, actually. And if the trike is smart, it will probably follow you to finish you off. But if you have a large group of Allos around, it's going to be very difficult for it to actually follow you and not take bites. As you can see here, we're showing how hard it is to actually get around the trike and get behind it. And before, we saw with the Rex and the Giga, you can actually kind of get behind it. Say if you are on a no alt turn server and you want to get behind it and ride it with Z-Walk, doable. If the trike is facing you, it's I just couldn't get behind the trike at all to ride its butt. So the only way you're going to ride a trike on a no alt turn server is by sneaking up on it. And even then, it's incredibly dangerous. It's much more dangerous to do it than the Giga or the Rex, because that left side hitbox for the trike is just absolutely broken. As you can see here, it just shotguns me from a whole mile away, and my whole life is over at this point. But in groups, very efficient for Allos to take out trikes, so be looking for these fights. 13 bites from the Allo to reach max bleed on the trike. It's definitely one of the more approachable apexes to fight. You know, if you get bit by a Rex, your leg's going to be broken, you're screwed. You get bit by a Giga, that's so much bleed, you're going to die almost instantly. Here you actually have a little bit of time to run away if you get hit by a horn attack, and others can cover for you. Now, the next size down is the Suko, and we're comparing ambush speeds here. Quite a bit faster than the Suko and lasts a little bit longer. As you can see, the Suko stops running there. Now, on a no alt turn server, this fight is actually a good matchup for the Allo and winnable if you can get behind the Suko. The Suko's Z turn is not that great, and it is very easy to work around it and ride the Suko till it dies. Now, what you don't want to do is fight the Suko on an alt turn server. You will get absolutely massacred. Suko's alt turn is very, very good, and tit for tat, hit for hit, the Suko will destroy you. 6 bites to hit max bleed on the Suko. Now we've got the Dibble matchup. 5 bites from the Allo to reach max bleed on the Dibble. 5 hits from the Dibble to reach max bleed on the Allo. You do not want to take 5 hits from a Dibble. You will die before you can say Allosaurus. Not really a matchup I recommend fighting 1v1. If you want to check out a much more in-depth view of this fight from the Dibble's perspective, I'll put a link up in the top right-hand corner here so you can check that out. But basically, you need to keep that ambush up if you want to win this fight, and you need to win it in numbers. You do not ever want to face tank this fight as an Allo. You will lose. If you don't have the ambush speed, the Dibble can run with you and get just enough hits on you to bleed you out and kill you very easily. Now, on to my favorite dinosaur matchup here is the Para. 6 bites to get max bleed on the Para. 3 kicks will kill you, and 11 headbutts will kill you. Now, I have gone over this matchup in depth from the Para's point of view, so I will also put a link to that video above. But in synopsis, the Para can ride you, it can kill Allos, it can outstam Allos, and basically the most aggressive person wins in this fight. What the Allo has to do to win this, you need to get 2 stacks of bleed on the Para at least, so 2 dots of bleed. So that's probably 3 or 4 bites. Before the Para cannot actually run you down, the Para will die before you run out of stam. So be aggressive, get those 3 or 4 bites on the Para, and you're gonna have it bleeding out in no time. But you need to be very, very careful of the Para's secret technique, the sit, stomp, cancel, and you will see me get snagged by it here in a second. I get really greedy and I get caught by it and I die. Now, on to the next one, Serato. 4 bites to max bleed, 2 bites lethal bleed. A very easy matchup for Allo on alt turn servers. They die so quickly once you get a few bites on them. On no alt turn servers, the Serato is actually quite a fearsome competitor for Allos. If the Serato can get behind, it has an amazing, amazing Z turn, and it's going to be impossible for that Allo to get and turn around and actually land bites on the Serato. Now on to Dilos. If you both have ambush, you're not going to catch them. But if the Dilo does not have its ambush and you do, within that night vision range, you are going to have a very high chance of catching them. Now, the important thing to remember here with Dilos is that you do have more stamina. You can outstand them. So if you keep them in your sights, you track them down, you can just run them down and kill them. Bite them once, they'll die from bleed. Bite them twice, they instantly flop. On an alt turn server, a Dilo fighting you is a very bad matchup for the Dilo. Your alt turn is just too good, and 1 bite will pretty much secure the kill for you. On a no alt turn server, it is very doable for a Dilo to ride the Allo, get that nice max stack of bleed, and run you out till you die in about 35 seconds. Be careful fighting Dilos in numbers because it only takes them 5 bites to get you to max bleed. So if you're fighting outnumbered, you could very well find yourself on the respawn screen. Now we have the Raptor matchup, which falls basically in the same category as the Dilo. If you bite it once, it is lethal. It will die from bleed. If you keep an eye on it and keep it standing, 2 bites to make it flop immediately. Now with the Raptor, it is 15 bites from a Raptor for the Allo to reach max bleed. And just remember, if you reach max bleed, that's pretty much a death sentence if you can't kill your adversaries. Now, by the time a Raptor gets 15 bites on you, you will already be 3rd screen if, for example, it's biting you 15 times straight in a row. Very hard matchup for the Utah, a very easy matchup for the Allo. If you are not greatly outnumbered, for example, in a 1v2, all the way up to, I would say, very easily could 1v3 or 1v4 very, very easily if you play it carefully and know what you're doing. If you're on a no alt turn server, they can ride you. It is doable, but just remember, kind of like with the Dilo, turn your Z-Walk on, try and juke them out of which way they want to go, snag a bite on them, they'll die. No alt turn, this is a very, very easy fight for you. Just alt turn on them. It's going to be stand your ground, alt turn, you'll last forever. Probably before they can even get the amount of bites in they need to get on you, you will snag a few. Now, just for funs, we have the Maia. Now, 5 bites to get a Maia to max bleed. For a Maia to kill an Allo, it's 16 to 17 headbutts. Now, you might think I'm a meme for adding a Maia to this, but if you're a solo Allo and you run up on 4 or 5 Maias, they can dogpile on you and kill you quite easily. I've done it. It's kind of a meme and it's kind of hilarious. But if you are a solo Allo and you run into 5 Maias, you might be staring at a death screen because they'll keep up with you quite easily and Their bleed heal is just amazing, and they're gonna run you down. So be careful of those guys in numbers. But generally, you're not gonna catch them unless you have ambush and you're literally standing right on top of them. They will probably never get near you otherwise, so I doubt that situation will ever happen. But just be careful if you're alone. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you got some good information on Allo and you're ready to go out there, survive, fight, and of course, win. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care. Let me know which dinosaurs you would like to see a guide on next in the comment section below. And we're going to be covering some new Arima content very soon. So if you enjoy the content, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much.